What is up, everybody? We're back with the brand new series, College Football in Review. And I'll go every Monday or Tuesday, depending on the games, and tell you about the week. And this week will be extra special because we also have week 0 to cover. So let's get into it. So the first game was a kickoff in Ireland, and that was Farmageddon. And pretty disappointing game. If you love defense, then you probably loved it, but I was not the biggest fan. Iowa State came away with the win, ugly, sloppy, and we even had Avery Johnson's family fighting in the parking lot afterwards. So that probably should tell you how the game went. Heading into week 1. So the games were pretty good. Of course, Lee Corso's final game day, he went 6 for 6. Hats off to him. Congrats. Great career on game day by him. I'll shout out to him. He doesn't need a shout out from me, but I'll just shout him out. The games were pretty good. The Ohio State-Texas game was a little bit disappointing. Ohio State's defense made a statement, obviously. And Julian Sain, he was okay. Freshman quarterback, first game ever, going against Texas's defense. There's nothing, I have no notes on him. He was the first game ever, and against that level of defense, that's top of the CFB. And he played decent. Arch Manning, on the other hand, not the best. That was not a great effort. That was the toughest challenge you could have had against that reigning national championships, who I think have the best defense, and it was just sloppy by him in Texas. People were saying, I don't know, someone said he looked like the best recruit going into the NFL draft since Andrew Luck. And I don't know. He has a full season left, and technically his granddad said he's coming back next year. Who knows if he'll even stay at Texas. But it was not a great week 1 for him, especially with everybody saying he's the Heisman favorite, and he's obviously not. Let's just get that out of the way. He's obviously not the Heisman favorite. So that was that game. Let's get into some of the Penn State is obviously number 2 in the nation, and they cruised against Nevada. That was expected. Nobody really stood out for me in that game, specifically Drew Aller, who again is one of those quarterbacks that people were like, oh, early Heisman favorite, which again, week 1, playing a weaker team. A lot of season left. This is week 0 and 1. The Clemson LSU game, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this class, and there's a lot we'll be discussing today. And 2 of those are Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik. Nussmeier was better than Klubnik, but neither were that impressive. That was just a good defensive game. Very sloppy on Clemson's part. LSU played good enough to win. All right. Notre Dame, Miami. I watched that. That was a great game. Except for Notre Dame at the middle of the game was not great. So a little bias for me liking Notre Dame. But all in all, it was a good game. Not Notre Dame's not. I mean, they lost in Illinois last year and still made it to the finals. So they're not out. And Miami, this could be a bold take. I think they are better than last year. Their defense looked really good. Carson Beck also looked very good. He didn't look fantastic or instant, I'm going to say Heisman favorite, but he did look very, very good. And to Miami on the win, but neither of those teams are. You're going to hear about those 2 teams all season long. But the 2 most shocking games, I'll say, is Boise State returned 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen and their quarterback, and got blown out by USF. I mean, congrats, that was a great game, but was Ashton, I mean, we know Ashton Jeanty was, of course, last year, but does prove how great he was, that they play like that against USF, play awful, and they have all these returners, but you take away one core piece, falls apart. No, I'm not a State fan personally. I don't know too much about how their defense turned over, but I was just genuinely unimpressed by the Broncos' offensive performance. All right, and I think it's the biggest storyline of the week, biggest game. That was FSU handling Alabama. I mean, I don't know if handling is the right word because that's an unranked Florida State team, and they just cruised against number 8 Alabama. There was no point I thought Alabama was going to beat Florida State. And Tommy Castellano said before the game something like, they don't have Nick Saban to them. And he just goes out there. I mean, they cruise. No point did I think FSU was going to lose to Alabama. That was a great game by FSU on all parts. Alabama, there's a learning curve, of course, with the new quarterback, Simpson. So I don't think we're done. we're definitely not done with Alabama. I mean, they could games will still be in the playoff conversation, of course, but it was just disappointing to see that, especially since, I mean, FSU went 10 last year, so that's great on their part. But Alabama, that's 4 unranked for Kalen DeBoer in a season in a game, versus Nick Saban had 4 in 17 years. So I'm not this problem, but it's not looking for Alabama. Next up, the 2 standout freshman wide receivers from last year, Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. Neither of them were great, of course, week 1, but little disappointed, especially with Jeremiah Smith. He was another one of those guys that people were saying in the offseason could be a Heisman favorite. And, I mean, I don't even know if he's 19. He's probably only 18 years old. So, nothing to worry about those 2. Next on my agenda is the UNC game. I'm a UNC fan. I'll let that be known. I'm a huge UNC fan. I thought after the first UNC, we were going to be a playoff team. It's not looking great now. First game, of course, with Bill Belichick, but the defense looked terrible. Sloppy tackling, poor communication, and the biggest problem was that I could be, and in the future games, I want to be proven wrong. Okay, I'll say it right now. I want to be wrong, but the talent just did not look very good against TCU. TCU just outclassed them on the lines, and Gio Lopez did not look great. Davion Gallis had a fumble, and it was just Chris Culver dropped the ball that like a 40-yard. But I will say there was one highlight, or a bright spot, I should say, and that was Max Johnson, who's coming with a broken leg, almost had to lose it, couldn't walk for like I'm definitely wrong, probably like 4 months, and now back, and he played very well. I mean, he threw it past, led him on a scoring drive, almost led him back to another scoring drive if it wasn't for a fumble. So, from my point of view, he should be the starter going into next week in Charlotte. But it was just a very disappointing start to the Belichick era. But learning curve, like I said, for Julian Sayin. I mean, there's enough for Belichick. I mean, 70 new. You can't expect them all to just go out there and play perfectly, especially when you have 30 of these are freshmen. And some of these guys are from like D3, D2, JUCO. It's a game, especially since it was a blowout. But season's not over. I'm still looking forward to it. I think it could still be a pretty good year. And last thing I'll mention is my current Heisman favorites. And now this is so early in the season that these guys, I may never see about them again. I would like to, because then I'd look pretty smart and have some dark horses. But these are my 2 most impressive Week 1 performers. Number 1, Justin Haynes from Michigan. Against New Mexico, he played very well. He looked very poised, and he could find the holes, and he was just a very good player. Was he the difference maker? I don't know, because Michigan was probably going to win no matter what if they had him or not. That was just a great game by him. Look to hear his name for a while. He's the transfer from Alabama, for those who are wondering. And my next is a quarterback, and his competition was admittedly pretty weak, Alabama A&M, but Taylon Green from Arkansas threw for 322 yards and 6 touchdowns. That is very good. He looked very good. Now, I know I just said it, competition may not be the best, but admittedly, currently he's my Heisman favorite. After not even 2 weeks really, week 0 and week 1. But we have a guy who, 322 yards. And, Arkansas is SEC, and they're going to have a lot of ranked games, so he can definitely prove himself. Watch out for those 2 guys. Thank you for watching College Football Review. This is D-Man200. Subscribe. Tell me if you like this. And if you do, I'll return for week 2. See you guys.